Hey people, it is Monday, September the 23rd. It is 8:10 p.m. and about 19 degrees. And we're looking at a very misty and fog-covered view of the skyline here from Riverdale Park East on Broadview Avenue. A very low cloud ceiling right now, and the rain is off and on in a very light, drizzly, misty sort of way. It's currently not drizzling or misting, but the skyline is quite obscured. You can't even make out the tallest office towers in the financial district or the CN Tower. Everything looks sort of truncated right now. The northern end of the skyline is much more clear though, although the tallest building is also partially covered by the low-hanging mist. But I'm going to make my way from here at Riverdale Park East, north up Broadview Avenue, to the Bloor Viaduct. I'm going to take a walk over the viaduct into downtown. And this wet, damp weather is definitely keeping the usual crowds away. Oftentimes in the evening, right after sunset, there'll be quite a big crowd of people here all admiring the skyline. And there's still people here, obviously, but not nearly as many. It's not a nice, clear, dry evening. It's kind of funny not being able to see the CN Tower. Almost looks like a different city. Well, maybe by the time we get to the Bloor Viaduct, things will clear up a bit. We'll get another chance to view the skyline from there. I'm not holding my breath though. And if it does start to rain harder, I do have an umbrella with me. Broadview Avenue here is mainly residential. It does have a bit of a commercial stretch as you get closer to Danforth, and in the other direction it has a commercial stretch once you get to Gerrard Street, where it passes through East Chinatown. And yes, look at that. Leaves are starting to fall from the trees. And the coloring is getting lighter on some of these leaves still on the trees. The green leaves are starting to turn yellow. Although it's still a bit early for fall to really kick in here in Toronto. By the middle of October, though, it should be something to see. I've always somewhat envied the residents of these two high-rise apartment buildings here who have a west-facing view, because they must have a spectacular view of the skyline. It looks amazing enough from street level there at Riverdale Park on a clear day. I can only imagine how awesome it looks from up on one of the higher floors of these buildings. Matter of fact, if rent was affordable and a unit was available, I'd probably readily move into one of these buildings. It's still close enough to downtown, and Broadview subway station is literally right up the street, plus the streetcar runs all along Broadview here itself too. Even this building is probably high enough for people to get an awesome skyline view from the uppermost couple of floors. And I see this former Loblaws has now completely been rebranded as a No Frills. There's a proposal to redevelop this building though with a new high-rise tower. And I think a new grocery store is slated to replace this one. All right, we're approaching Danforth Avenue. So let's start heading west over the bridge. The Bloor Viaduct is also known as the Prince Edward Viaduct. It was built around 100 years ago or so. And one of the cool things about it is it was built with the ability to have a subway train pass on the underside of the bridge. But the subway line here, line 2, didn't actually exist until several decades later. So they planned that way ahead of time, knowing that eventually a subway would be built. And sure enough, it did, or it was. So now you can ride the subway over the viaduct and get a nice view. And I see they have the LED lighting turned on here. This is called the luminous veil. And the Don Valley Parkway down below. And I can hear a subway train passing underneath. They have these old viewing areas here. Looks like the skyline is still partly obscured. They used to have these coin-operated viewers here where you could get a zoomed in look. Sort of like binoculars. There used to be an old one still here in one of these old viewing areas. Obviously it doesn't work anymore. I'm not sure if it's still there, if they finally took it down or not. It's like a relic from the past. Oh, it is still there. I can see it up ahead here. I wonder what year this was initially installed. Is there a year on here? I don't see any year, but this must be at least 60, 70 years old, if not more. Looks like the luminous veil. Seems to skip a few sections. And all this wiring you see here was installed as a preventative measure to curtail the rather high number of jumpers. And what have we here now? It's a memorial to somebody. R.I.P. to the wonderful Harlow Mingus Joy. I'm not sure what happened here, if it was a accident of some sort, traffic or bicycle related. It couldn't have been a jumping situation, obviously, because that's no longer possible here. Wherever they are, they're very loved, obviously. It could have been the anniversary of someone's death who did jump years ago before they installed the barrier. Maybe like a 20th anniversary or something, perhaps. I think it was around 20 years ago when they installed this. All right, well, we're over the viaduct now. This is where Bloor Street begins. It's just a continuation of Danforth Avenue, really, with a different name. We're coming into the northern end of downtown. You can see the Bloor Yorkville skyline off in that direction. That's Castle Frank subway station across the street. So Parliament Street is the next major intersection. I think I'll head south down Parliament Street. That'll take us through the main commercial strip of Cabbagetown, which is a very nice neighborhood on the east side of downtown. The Parliament Street bus heading into Castle Frank Station. A shot of the Bloor Yorkville skyline there. Here's another smaller bridge that goes over the Rosedale Valley. Rosedale Valley Road is running below us here. It's a very picturesque roadway. It's an awesome place to walk along, especially in the fall when all the trees are in full color. And the Rosedale neighborhood is just over on the other side. Lots of traffic here, obviously. Bloor Street continues off to the west. But Parliament Street takes a turn south here. It begins here. And we've got the St. Jamestown neighborhood. And St. James Cemetery on this side, one of the oldest cemeteries in the city. And it definitely provides that spooky look that you want a cemetery to have, especially around Halloween. You'll find lots of gravestones for people that lived their entire lifetime within the 19th century and never even experienced the 20th century, let alone the 21st century. There's another smaller but perhaps even older cemetery right in the heart of Cabbagetown called the Necropolis. I don't know if you can make out these spooky gravestones. That's pretty neat. Well, that wasn't a ghost, that was just a shirtless dude running with an unusual gait. It's definitely still warm enough out here to run around shirtless if that's what you want to do. St. Jamestown again. And here's the gate to enter the cemetery, but it's closed now. I think it closes at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. actually. Gate hours 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Makes it kind of hard to walk around at night if you want to do something spooky. I guess if you come in the middle of winter, it'll be dark enough by 5 or 6 p.m. And now we're coming into the commercial strip here on Parliament Street. The main drag of Cabbagetown. There's Wellesley Street. And the old Cabbagetown neighborhood. Lots of 19th century era old townhomes that have been converted to commercial uses, as well as more traditional retail storefronts. It's not usually so full of trash though. I think it must be garbage pickup tomorrow morning. Ooh, this is a good looking place. Got some goodies. I did a fairly thorough walk through all the residential streets of Old Cabbagetown not all that long ago. If you're interested in learning more about that neighborhood. That's quite something. Find all the usual. Sorry, I don't have anything. Sorry. I never carry change. I haven't carried change in many years, actually. I was saying you can find almost all the usual things that you would need in a commercial strip like this. Most of the big chain type stores that come in handy, such as Rexall's and Shoppers Drug Marts. There's a No Frills grocery store, got a neighborhood home hardware, and tons of little independent shops and restaurants. Fruit stands, coffee shops, some bars. And of course, Dollarama. What it doesn't have is a movie theater, though. I think this used to be a movie theater years ago. Now it's the Canadian Contemporary Dance Theater. There's even a lounge. And a nice variety of different sorts of restaurants too, whatever your taste may be. My street is sort of equidistant between Parliament here and Yonge Street. And honestly, this street is better than downtown Yonge for its sort of mix of offerings, really, in my opinion. Here's Carlton Street. This is where it begins. And a 506 Carlton streetcar. And here's the home hardware. And you have bank branches, of course. Have a hookah lounge. Cell phone repair. And you have not so good takeout pizza. Here's the No Frills. Looking into the neighborhood again. super bargain snack bar. And every neighborhood has some of these now. So your Dollarama. Your sort of little bit of everything store. A bunch of restaurants. We've got a shoe store. And a competitor to Dollarama. Dollar for you. All right. I've never actually been inside that place before. And there's a really good thrift store just around the corner here on Gerrard. I think it's called Second Look, maybe. But that about does it for the main part of the retail strip here on Parliament for Old Cabbagetown. Parliament does continue on, obviously, but the nature of the neighborhood changes here south of Gerrard. This is Regent Park on the other side of the street. So I'm going to make my way west here on Gerrard towards home. I'm going to start to wrap up this walk. I hope you enjoyed the Monday evening walk. And I avoided getting rained on. We started on Broadview Avenue looking at the Misty skyline view and made our way up to Danforth, over the Bloor Viaduct to Bloor, and then Parliament and south here to Gerrard through the main drag of Cabbagetown. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the walk, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and also make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. And you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member or by sending a super thanks if you prefer, as we walk past the Cabbagetown Public Library branch here. So thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.